Alright, welcome back to Roguetech and welcome back to your first playthrough. So, we have 11 days before the flare-up begins that we fully intend to take part in and rescue rescue this system from the Capellans. But yeah, specifically right now we're trying to just prep. The goal here is not to finish building everything, of course, so we only have 11 days, but it's specifically to get what we can online for the flare-up. We have 1 day before the executioner is repaired, so that's important. Poker will be up in 1 day. He's already ready to go. The Chameleon, I believe we already built something. I don't recall exactly what or whether or not we actually did, but regardless, 2 days till a Chameleon is whatever it is. But we do currently have the fire starter that we ejected from, so we need to do a little bit of work there. And we have this Aswang that we're still waiting to do something with. So let's go ahead and do something. It's an Omni, so it should be very quick. The Calcifer, we just need new cockpit components, a new Guardian ECM, and new ammo for our SRM. I am specifically going to put in just a regular bin of ammo, in part because that is our shield side, more or less, kind of. So we just kind of don't care. This is primarily, Calcifer is primarily about overheating people. So the Inferno ammo is what we're prioritizing most often. The SRM ammo is just in case we want to do some damage. So we're not going to drop the LKN. I would rather hold on to that for either the Stormcrow or some other SRM build, or build with SRMs in it. Regardless, we're just going to put a regular bin of SRM ammo back in. Everything is repaired, and we just go on over to, there it is. Put a new Guardian ECM in. Boom. And honestly, we're just going to toss it over with the Beagle Probe. There we go. So, at this point, we just need cockpit components and Calcifer's back up and running. We could put the comm suite back in again. But I'm sitting here kind of wondering, like, why? Why? Tactics doesn't really help us too much with our SRM Flamer build. But of course, neither does Gunnery. So what I think I'm going to do is actually Armored Cal. Just reduce the chance that one of our frontline mechs is, getting injured, bleeding out, all that nastiness. So we're going to go with Armored Cal. Now, for the fire control, we don't have an energy accuracy, but even if we did, I mean, it's flamers, so they're already fairly accurate. Jam does nothing. We have nothing that can jam. We could go fire control improved, which would give us +1 gunnery. We could also go fire control Artemis 2, which only affects the SRM-16, but I feel like that's probably a worthwhile place to put it, because that is 160 damage splash. It's 160 damage if we're firing the SRM ammo. If we're not firing the SRM ammo, it's increased chance for the Inferno hits, which is increased chance for heat generation. So it's a safe place. It's a decent place to put the Artemis 2. Obviously, we'd be looking for better quality fire control systems for something that's, more missile dependent. And honestly, night vision would be definitely much more worthwhile on an LRM build, because LRMs obviously are going to be further away, and night vision matters more when you're not standing right on top of your target. So Artemis 2 is going to go into Calcifer here, and we're just going to finish it right like that. 1 day until Calcifer is back ready again. Although, not that. Huldra is done being injured, so completely ready to drop Calcifer. And so now we're just going to take a quick look at the Aswang. I have a lot I could do here. To be clear, there's a lot that we can do here. I'm very interested in using the emergency coolant system and radical heatsink kit. But the Aswang is not super fast. So if we want to do, for example, like a medium laser spam build, we're going to need a little bit more speed. So we can look in here. Oh, no, not that. That. So we can look in here, we got Mask, we got Supercharger. TSM is kind of interesting in the fact that, like, we kind of want to run hot because of our excessive, you know, emergency cooling. But it's a lot harder to control when it is or isn't going to be on. So I don't think TSM is the answer here. Mask Supercharger, one of them would bring us up from 5.7 to 5.10. And because of rounding, if we use both, it would just be 5.12. I mean, 5.12 is still very respectable, but at the same time, one or the other is probably going to be a better use of our tonnage and whatnot. So if we go Mask and it crits, it goes to the legs. If we go Supercharger and it crits, it goes boom. And the reason we don't have the Supercharger on the Stormcrow is because too many weapons on an Omni makes it very hard to keep track of what is and isn't about to explode. Not a problem if you're not a goldfish or very attentive, but yeah, I've been dealing with that for a little bit. So it's worth noting we have Stealth Armor, which has a fixed slot in each leg. If the fixed slot gets destroyed, the Stealth Armor gets destroyed. And we have Void System, which has a fixed slot in the legs. And if a fixed slot gets destroyed, the Void Armor gets destroyed. So that means if we're using Stealth, we should not use the Mask. If we're not using Stealth, if we're just going with Reactive Plating, or if we're just going with Pharaoh or whatever, then we don't have to worry about the legs because obviously there's nothing in the leg right now to worry about getting crit. And especially if we're going with a high heat energy build, we're not going to have ammo. Probably. The plasma cannons, I believe the ammo is inert. Don't quote me on that one. Yeah, it's inert. So we can still put plasma ammo in the side torsos and whatnot and not worry about an ammo explosion. And that is an interesting direction to go. That said, we do have some really solid electronic warfare here, and stealth would be really fun. So the two things I'm kind of thinking with the Aswang is, one, we take advantage of the AR-20, we give it the Void System, and instead of really worrying too much about the emergency cooling and everything, we just go with an LRM spam build. So LRM spam would let us do something like that, and another one on that arm, and then the one center or whatever. So at this point, obviously we would need ammo. But at this point, we would have LRM 4, wait, 15, 30, yeah, LRM 40. So every bin of ammo would be 3 Alpha Strikes, which means we would really need to find more tonnage to make this kind of effective. But we would have a bunch of LRMs, we'd have the Void System, we'd be able to sit safe at long range, not worry so much about our speed, and just kind of lob LRMs at range. It's not bad. It's not bad. There's plenty of things we could do, but I think mostly just based on the lance that we, like the mechs that we already have built, I'm not willing to make the stealth LRM build here. I think I would either want a build that has more long range reach out and touch someone, or a mech that just goes with the majority of our builds and goes in closer. So I think I am going to use the mask. Actually, I'll put it on the side with more hard points. And so with the mask, again, now we're up to 510, which is respectable. It's adequate for me to, you know, come in closer to people. Ooh, then again, we do... Ooh, we have the IFF Jammer Mark III. Okay, we're going to make a stealth mech as... Stealth Executioner? Maybe. Maybe. We'll definitely be using the IFF Jammer with the Void System, doing some kind of crazy stealth shenanigans. But for now, we're just going to make the Aswang go a little bit faster. Which means we then are free to choose between defensive armor, which we don't really care about through armor crits if we're using a primarily just energy build. Or Pharaoh to save some tonnage. Again, we don't really care about Clan Pharaoh because we're not going to... Actually, wait, plasma cannons can explode, can't they? So I'm thinking like plasma cannon plus... Yeah, plasma cannons can explode just like Gauss, so... Yeah, I'm thinking plasma cannon and... Plasma cannon mediums is probably what we're going to go here. So, with this idea, maybe it would be okay. Maybe it would be worthwhile to bring the Clan Pharaoh, and that way, if the plasma cannons do explode, we just lose an arm instead of losing, you know, the... Right! Plasma cannons, PPCs, and... Gauss? I can't remember what all it is that can't be used with the Omnipod lowers. Yeah. Gauss. What about autocannons? Autocannons fine, or autocannons also too much? Yeah. So basically we're stuck with the arms being mostly just lasers, which is fine. That's completely fine. But we'll get to exactly which lasers we want to use in just a bit. We are going to absolutely then put the plasma cannons inside. Ooh, actually... Is the clan armor now worthwhile? Because if we put plasma cannons in the side torso, now we kind of have to worry about if they explode. And this is the key thing here. The Pharaoh is only saving us 2 tons with absolutely maxed armor. Not even 2 tons. 1.76 tons with absolutely maxed armor. Alternatively, we could take some damage reduction and maybe drop some armor. In this case, we would definitely not put the 2 inner sphere plasma cannons. I think we would put the 2, and actually the shield side would be our right side here. So we can do that. So we got inner sphere plasma cannon, which is 50% bonus damage against overheating targets, which brings the 35 up to a very respectable roughly 50. We've got the clan plasma cannon, which does more heat but less damage. Specifically, the increases heat generation by 15% and increases heat generation by 30%. It's also 3 tons compared to 6, so that's a thing. We also do have the option, if we just want to just have the clan plasma cannon and then run a bunch of lasers, that's also an option. We could also throw some flamers in just for, you know, just for giggles. Yeah, that's a PG way to say it. So we do definitely have that as an option. There's just so many ways we can build this thing. Also, since the clan plasma is only 1 slot, we could then use 2 slots on the left torso. And we do still have the option of putting on the combat shield, if we're only using the hard points available on the left side. And we do have that 2-ton combat shield. It needs lower, right? Yeah, it requires lower arms. So we would have to leave the Omnipod lower, but that's fine. So that combat shield would give us 8% damage reduction on the arm all the time. We just wouldn't be able to put weapons on the arm. And if it's active, we can't shoot any of the right torso, head, or center torso weapons. But that still gives us 8 hard points, which we can make full use of. Now, yes, having all of our heat sinks on the right torso is interesting. But, oh man, we have pulse lasers. We could make this thing super accurate as well. Or we could go with a little bit more range, ER medium bright blooms and ER mediums. Yeah, let's look at that for a second. So if we go ER medium bright blooms, that gives us 4 medium lasers. So within 320 meters, that's 120 damage. And then at max range 640, that's still 60 damage. Very respectable. Clan medium pulse is 180 meters. Medium X pulse is 360. So we've kind of got like a mid to respectably, you know, kind of long range build going here. We do need to remember the plasma cannon ammo. And how much is each bin of ammo? 10 shots. So we would need 2 bins of ammo. Well, basically 1 bin of ammo per plasma cannon. And again, we didn't... we definitely do not want to put the plasma ammo in the legs, because Mask can crit the leg and destroy the ammo. Even if it doesn't explode, that would be potentially 10 shots that would just be gone. And this would be the build if we went with the plasma cannon, clan plasma cannon. But I think I'm just going to go with one or the other. So what does that give us? That gives us either 3 extra tons for damage and better heat generation, or 3 less tons for other things and less heat generation in exchange for a little bit of damage on that weapon. Obvious answer. Obvious answer is obvious. Alright, also as the clan plasma, yeah, no minimum range on the clan plasma. So now we can really get up close and touch people. Very nice. So now we have, if we keep in mind that our electronic warfare is already taken care of, we could potentially just load up 3 more medium lasers that we can just fire all the time. And then have some tonnage left over for, I don't know, something. I mean, C3 is something we could add, but I don't think this is the right mech for a C3 master. C3 slave would be interesting, but we don't have any. So, what do? We only have 2 improved jump jets. I would actually consider putting jumps on it. Exchanger, maybe. Right now our heat efficiency is a delta of 33. We can deal with that. We can absolutely deal with that. I'm just kind of trying to think what else. I mean, is it just 3 mediums? Is it 3 pulses? So we have at range, at roughly, well, at 640 to 720, we've got all of that we could fire. And then as we get closer, we could start firing pulse lasers. We could get closer and start firing flamers, adding more heat. Options upon options. We could also go with some kind of missile support weapon. Or we could potentially load up some LRMs or something in the other side, and then when the combat shield is active, we're probably up close, and if we're far away, firing the LRMs. But that's... I really don't like splitting builds. I really feel like it's just, you know, inadvisable. So what if we go X pulses? This is probably going to sound crazy, because our heat efficiency is, like, tanking hard right now. But each of these would be +1 accuracy, 1 evasion ignore for 35 pinpoint. So that's 105 high accuracy up to 360 meters. And all we'd have to do is fix our heat. But I don't think that's the play, specifically because this thing, we don't want it to be too efficient cooling. And also, it's a 40-tonner, so we don't want to put all of our best stuff in it. And we kind of want it to soak damage, because it does have the reactive plating in the combat shield. So, I think instead of focusing on heat and... Oh yeah, it also has fixed regular Indo, so we can't save slots there. So maybe we do just go with standard mediums. Still 360 meters, 25 instead of 35, but only 9 heat and 1 ton instead of 18 heat and 2 tons. Maybe. We could also tuck a large in. That way it has range parity with the rest. Large pulses, 480 meters. Binary laser is way too heavy. Same with PPCs. Ooh, actually, wait, snub. 1 ton more. 1 ton more than the large laser. It is 30 heat. It is 30 heat, but gives some ECM jamming on top of the heat generation. Max range 780, has damage fall off much like the medium lasers. But it does soak a lot of our tonnage. That is literally the same as all 3 of the medium X pulses together. So no, I think we do go with the medium X pulses, and then we try to fix our heat. And how are we going to fix our heat? Good question. Probably heat bank. Right. I forgot about that. The AR-20 Warfare Suite reduces carry capacity by 50%. Oof. Which means that combat shield, that's it. If we bring the combat shield, that's all. That's everything. Oof. Okay. And we can't use mask and TSM together. What if we drop the mask and add the TSM? Does that actually bring us... that one. Okay, so just if we bring the TSM. We still only have 2 tons. The combat shield is literally taking up half of what we have available. That's rough. So maybe we revisit this. Hold on. Maybe we revisit this. If we're dropping the mask. Anyway. Are we making it stealth? So Void System is 10% plus 10 flat. Stealth Armor is plus 5% plus 3 flat. So obviously that would be less heat. And you know what? I don't think it needs the stealth or the Void System. It already has the AR-20, and if we're also giving it, assuming we can, if we're also giving it the IFF Jammer Mark III, like our ECM shield alone is 2 for us and our allies, 1 for the carrier, so that's 3, plus another 3 for the IFF Jammer, that's 6, and then the stealth armor is bringing us 40% sensor stealth signature reduction, and 3 sensor check penalty. So they would need a 9 without the signature reduction being even factored in. They would need a sensor roll of 9 or higher to have sensors on us. With just basic stealth armor. Although we are a long to medium range build. Which is tricky. Actually, the medium pulses make us very much a medium to short range build. Okay. What are we gonna do? Also, the Exchanger Plus just completely offsets the Stealth Plus. So 5% extra versus 10% less. 3 flat versus 6 flat. So the Exchanger Plus is offsetting double what the Stealth is costing. We still have half a ton of carry capacity, but, I mean, at that point, our specialist slots are taken. And even then, actually, our heat efficiency, we still have a delta of 16. Well, I'm 25 minutes in, and I'm still working on the Aswang. Yeah, it's a tricky mech. It is a slightly tricky mech. It's got tons of hard points, but not a lot of tonnage, and slots are a bit of an issue because of the Indo. Cockpit risk I'm happy with. It's a reinforced cockpit. Like, that's fine. The guts doesn't really help us directly, but injury resist is cool. And then the bonus to tactics is just bonus sensor roll, basically. But I'm fine with it. And then the fire... Oh, we don't have night vision. We don't have night vision here. Stealth mechs are best in the dark. Because dark reduces visibility, and then you already have sensor reduction. So, like, nighttime missions would be our best defensive options. But if we don't have night vision, then we don't really want to be in the dark either. Definitely not making it a melee cougar, because, yeah, again, carry capacity, that's a big problem. But I don't really want to replace the fire control, because, yeah, I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna give it the, where is it? Night vision. And actually, I need to swap those. So we still have shield side on the right side. We, again, don't have the extra speed from the mask. But since we don't have the combat shield, we actually have a lot more hard points to work with. Our heat efficiency could be better. Yeah, there's... within the limitations of what we got here. Like, I definitely want to keep the cockpit, just... That's great. Evasion ignore, breaching shot. Actually, we're not really using breaching shot. It would be kind of interesting to have one big weapon to use breaching shot if they have cover and whatnot. I just had an idea. We do have a 2-ton vibro sword. We do have a cockpit hot seat. That gives us mobility. 60-meter walk. So when it's active, we're increasing our move up to 7 hexes, which increases our sprint up to 10. So it's as effective as the mask. And it lets us carry more. Not enough more, though. Okay. And it would generate heat, yada, yada, yada. So then, just TSM. TSM's inadequate. Really. So there's literally nothing we can do. Oh, wait. No. There's not absolutely nothing we can do. Wait. How does... Percentages. That's the problem. This requires 0 carry capacity. Night vision's fine. Vibro sword is 2 tons flat. The exchanger is 30%. The AR-20 is 50%. So there's never a world where the Aswang is a melee mech, ever. Okay. Huh. Yeah, this is a tricky mech to build, if only because of the AR-20. Do we go back to stealth? I think we go back to stealth, honestly. I think we go back to stealth. There's like so many things that don't really work great together. It's kind of disappointing a little bit. Do we go back to mask? I think we definitely go back to plasma cannon. 100%. I think plasma cannon stays. It can explode, so. And then Omni, since we're not using, and we don't go back to mask, no, because if we're using stealth, the incompatibility is if the mask crits, the mask crit the stealth and then destroy the stealth. So, oops. Yeah, so I think we definitely go back to Bright Blooms on the arm with the increased accuracy from the Omni lower. Plasma cannon inside torso. Ammo we can just literally slot in anywhere. It's not fast enough. Because Calcifer's faster, right? Right? I think. You know, we actually haven't really done much of anything. So let's go. Yeah, Calcifer's faster. Calcifer, I believe, is 7.9. Okay, who's got the same? Okay, Lineholder's slower. Stormcrow's faster. Okay, so we're gonna be basically sticking with the Bushwhacker. The Bushwhacker has been excelling with its 720 plus range weaponry. Stealth is faster. Yeah, everyone's faster. The Cougar is going to be battle buddies with the Bushwhacker. Which means, yes, we go stealth. We absolutely go stealth. Again, I'm going to save the Void System for... Yeah, the Void System is going to stay for a more valuable mech. As is the IFF Jammer. So we're back to Exchanger. We're back to Night Vision. And... yeah. Period. So yeah, we're just gonna put some extra double heat sinks, I guess. We still have 3 slots now. We definitely want all 4 slots. And we could also toss a heat sink in center. Whatever. Something like that. And then Bright Blooms on the arm. And so our goal is to be 720-ish. See, there we have damage fall-off, though. So this is still a 320-meter build. Oof. That's unfortunate. Yeah, I really wish that I had... I wish I had the stuff on this mech split between 2 mechs, so I could make one really fun stealth mech and one really fun, like, heat mech. Because this... You know what? It's fine. What if we just try the LRM build? After all this, going straight back to what I was originally talking about. What if we just do the LRM build? Sit at... and we could spread them out so that they're not clustered. So there's 40 LRMs. We don't need the extra heat sinks. We only need the engine heat sinks. We don't even need the exchanger. See, now it's starting to come together. We do need some more tonnage, but this lets us toss in the IFF Jammer Mark II. Actually, we can still go shield side. Hold on. If we don't need the exchanger... that means we can use the 2-ton combat shield. It does kind of offset the stealth a little bit, because the stealth reduces sensor signature, and the combat shield increases sensor signature, but only by 4%. So if it does start getting shot at while it's hanging out around our bushwhacker, it's still able to do some work. Is this the play? So we'd have 40 LRMs, which means that we would be able to fire on the same targets as our bushwhacker. I mean, the IFF jammer is 0.2 tons. Are you able to use TSM? You can use TSM with stealth. Interesting. That would let us use the IFF jammer. But then the IFF jammer is kind of in contradiction with the combat shield. We want this mech to be focused over the bushwhacker with the combat shield, but the IFF jammer and stealth means we're not getting targeted. Oof. Oof. I mean, we could go back to the Clan Pharaoh, so we have case for the ammo. Could go back to reactive plating. Through armor crit immunity. I mean, the combat shield gives protection from through armor crit, but not immunity. But I think the case is more valuable, and it also saves us a little bit of tonnage, which means we can do something more interesting with our ammo. So, obviously Artemis, because of the way the Artemis attachments work, Artemis attachment means you want big LRM packs to stick the Artemis ammo into, since you only need one attachment per LRM 20, whereas here we would need 4 attachments per location. A bit much, but we do have mag pulse, so we can still accomplish a bit of that whole heat, you know, building up heat with our Aswang as well. This is interesting. This is interesting. And to be fair, it is still viable to put in the IFF jammer just to increase the ECM shield, but it's fine. Swarm, also pretty interesting, just for when we don't have a very good hit chance. And again, each bin of ammo is 3 alpha strikes, because we've got 40 tubes. But we can also mix and match. I would love to have LK, but we do not. And we only have a single bin of regular. So that's 9 alpha strikes. And we're at tonnage. Unfortunate. Like I said, this is like that place where you just kind of want all the things, but you just can't fit all the things. So, we do have the option of dropping some tubes for more ammo, or not even more ammo, just to have more alpha strikes per bin, and then putting some secondary systems of some kind, but I think we legitimately do put the TSM. Our heat efficiency is crazy good. Like, extremely, extremely good. So we're never, ever going to get hot. And that means we're never going to use our emergency coolant or radical heatsink kit unless we're taking heat damage. Can I drop enough? Can I drop enough? The plasma cannons have damage fall off, so that's not interesting if we're doing an LRM build. To get maximum heat and damage, we'd have to be within 300 or within 360. Whereas we do not want to get anywhere close since we have a minimum range of 180. But an ERPPC, on the other hand, with a max range of 840, and as well, no minimum range, so if somebody does get within our minimum range with the LRMs, we can just shoot them with the PPC. Snub has damage fall off, same problem as the plasma cannons. So to get an ERPPC on board, we would need 3 more tons. But dropping the 2 LRM-5s does give us 12 Alpha Strikes of LRM ammo. So, what I'm looking at here. Engine core, it's stuck because Omni. Engine light has to stay light. We do have the ultralight gyro. So, like, the only thing we could possibly do to save tonnage is armor changes. And unfortunately, that is the armor we have that will save the most tonnage. So we could drop 2 more LRM-5s. So then we only have LRM-20. Which means we only need 2 bins of ammo. 1 for heat, 1 for damage. So that's 12 Alpha Strikes. Half of which is damage, half of which is heat. But the interesting thing here is this ERPPC. Well, first of all, we could put all the LRMs on the arm with the bonus accuracy. This ERPPC gives us a respectable weapon to use with breaching shot. So we get a little bit more use out of our fire control. And now we have just over 2 tons for, what? That's the question then. Two tons and we change the ERPPC to a binary laser? Honestly? That is kind of interesting. Actually, we can use the binary laser with the Omni lower. It shows 720 meters max range, but the binary laser is damage fall off, right? Yeah. So no. It is definitely the ERPPC here. And then we have just over 2 tons. Adding an extra 5 LRM tubes, I don't feel like the breakpoints for ammo conservation or for ammo, count is fairly constant. It's basically every 10, just because it's multiples of 10. So what would we do with the last 2 tons? We have extra heat efficiency. This is a heat delta of 1. We do still have 2 tons. We do still have 2 tons of carry and regular. So we could also put a heat bank. No, we can't. Oh, that's unfortunate. A heat bank would require 0.4 extra. Well, unless it was a regular heat bank instead of a heat bank plus, just because the pluses add extra, whatever. I mean, there is, again, the IFF jammer. It's an option. Man, this is so tricky, though. We could give it a Vibro Sword. No, we couldn't. How does that work? 6 out of 8 carry capacity, 2-ton Vibro Sword, 8 out of 6. What? What? Something weird's going on. Something weird is going on. Why is it dropping... Two-hand required. Two-hand required. Because even though... Usage 0 out of 0. What? Man, this AR-20 is like messing stuff up. I mean, it's not showing a warning for the combat shield, even though our hands are 0 out of 0. Because we don't have hands. That's what's going on. Okay, so we have the Omni lower. Do we have Omni hands? No, we do not have Omni hands. And the weapon, the weapon, wherever it went, the handheld, there, requires hands. Requires hands. That's why it doesn't work. Because it requires hands. Usage 2 out of 0, two-handed required. And it has no hands. Combat Shield 4-ton works. Combat Shield 4-ton works. Combat Shield 2-ton works. This is so weird. So weird. Yeah. This is why, by the way, I had been previously sketching out ideas before recording. But... that's so strange. That's actually super strange. Hold on, hold on. So is it actually... Hold on. So this requires 35%. This requires 30%. So I would only... My max to still be able to use the combat shield would be 75%. And this takes 50, this takes 30. Okay. Yeah, so I would need a heat bank or an exchanger that is not a plus variant to make maximum use of my carry capacity without going over. This is hilarious, but do I have a regular exchanger somewhere that I can swap? So the Bushwhacker has a nothing advanced optics. Okay. Stormcrow has a B-pod and bolt-on rockets. What? Also, last time I dropped it, I kind of missed the extra SRMs. I know I got completely distracted here, but I I think we're going to keep the B-Pod because the machine guns are very good against battle armor. B-Pod's great against battle armor. But instead of the bolt-on rockets, I think I'd rather have the IFF jammer. And I kind of do want to replace the mask with the supercharger again. Or at the very least, just with SRMs. Because that's 4 tubes. It's like, that's an extra 40 damage on the Alpha Strike. So right now we have 14. What if I just don't put a supercharger at all? I know, I just got completely distracted, but we have another SRM-6 Valiant. So now we have SRM-20 with high crit chance. And we're just dropping 1 clan machine gun. So our raw damage is much higher. Our crit chance is still very, very respectable. The only effect is that we've reduced our... and also swap these, put the IFF jammer on the shield side, or on the safe side rather than the shield side. So we should be very hard to hit. We have a very, solid shield side there. If we lose side torso, we have a clan XL, so we don't care. We are perfect on tonnage. Are we good on ammo? That's the question. So, again, we have 20 SRM tubes. That's 5 Alpha Strikes. That's 5 Alpha Strikes. And that is 2.5 Alpha Strikes. So that's 12.5. I'm happy with that. And our machine gun ammo, we're never going to run out. So we could actually, potentially, trade out the machine gun tracer, which just gives us bonus accuracy, in exchange for a machine gun half. Which would then let us upgrade the SRM ammo to include either another SRM Inferno half. Full stop. And also, we're going to drop this SRM. If they have AMS, I think that's fine. We just shoot heat until they run out of AMS or until we destroy the AMS bit carrier. So this means that we're trading off +1 accuracy with our now 3 machine guns in exchange for an extra 2.5 Alpha Strikes of heat. Which is juicy. Very juicy. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Let's do that. Alright. And then... yeah, it's fine. The Stormcrow is still fairly fast enough-ish. But where is... Blue Shield armor system and bolt-on LAAs. Does Cloak have enough carry capacity? Yes, it does. So, Cloak here, we're going to give it Exchanger Plus. 1 day. It's fine. And that gives us an Exchanger. So we can now use an Exchanger. Clan Pharaoh. Right. This one. TSM. So now, if we're running hot, we'll also get bonus mobility, in addition to having the increased carry weight. Give it the combat shield. So we now have 7.6 being used. Give it the night vision, which we could upgrade to an advanced optics if we get some more later on. So we even have a slight upgrade path available. And now we're making good use of our carry capacity. We are fairly tanky with our combat shield on our right side. We have plenty of hard points. And this gives us plenty of heat. So maybe No. No. The heavy PVC is just a bit much. It's better for single hardpoint type. Honestly, even ERPPC, kind of a bit much. I think... What about this? Hold on. Hold on. I know large laser's only 600 meters. I'm sketching. Again, still, after almost an hour, I'm sketching. So, LRM 20. We can move those back and forth between the lower. We would need, with 20 LRMs, we would need 2 bins of ammo. So, and again, the the clan LRMs we have, not going to use them here, because those are better for mechs that are going to get in closer. Kind of like the idea of Swarm, but I definitely prefer Magpulse here. And just regular LRM ammo. So with an LRM 20, which this is a 8-ton LRM 20, compared to a, I believe they're regularly 10 tons. With 2 bins of ammo. Our heat efficiency still is negative 29 with the large laser. It's just so much. The only way I'm ever going to put a dent in our heat is by using stuff like ER mediums. Yeah. What if... What if we just get a little stupid? Completely ignoring the number of hardpoints we have. Yeah, PVC can't be used with the Omni lower, but the binary laser can. So with the exchanger, with the combat shield, we have a heat delta of 24. Which, with the radical heatsink kit, is completely covered when they both kick on. But we don't want to have to rely on both. The emergency coolant system, as the name implies, is best used as a, oh no, we took heat damage when it wasn't our turn, and then during our turn we cool an extra 25, so that's cool. Radical heatsink kit, minus 25. We don't want to completely overload it. When it's on, we want to actually be cooling enough to still fire everything. So I think we would definitely want another double heatsink. So now our heat delta is 18. And then when it kicks on, we're cooling an extra 7 per turn, beyond what we're using. And since it kicks on at 90%, we can actually get close to redline, then cool down, then get close to redline, then cool down. So we can fluctuate between the 90 and 50% heat threshold, and if we do start getting hit by heat damage that is in excess of what our emergency coolant system can handle, well, then we just don't shoot one of the weapons. Alternatively, we do something like binary laser, large laser, which at this point we have a heat delta of -2, so we don't need the extra heat sink. We have 5 tons left. So then we could still go LRM5, LRM10. I know I'm putting them all in the... I'm not going to actually put them all in the arm. This is just theoretical sketching still. And then we would only need 1 bin of ammo because LRM10. We could even go half bins if we had like a half bin of something interesting. Half bin of regular for damage, half bin of swarm or magpulse or something. But as it is, I mean, honestly, full bin of LRM ammo is probably the way I'd go, just because damage is the thing that's always useful versus heat and stuff that, if you're not specifically needing it, doesn't really do what you want. So now our heat efficiency is 10 heat delta. So we hit 90% and then we immediately cool back down, no problem. If we take heat damage, we can still fire everything, cool back down, no problem. And that's our tonnage used. It's a weird build though. It's a very weird build, and also like having ammo does make taking heat damage riskier. But it's just having an Omni. Having an Omni with too big of pinpoint weapons is weird. Oh, there's so much going on here. Although actually, you know what? If we drop the exchanger. The exchanger that we wasted time to go and get. If we drop the exchanger, that means we don't need the TSM. And our 33 heat delta, we can drop very easily. And go back to ER mediums. Back to that spot we were so long ago. Put the exchanger back. Put the... Where is TSM? TSM. Put the TSM back. The TSM means when we're over 27 heat, we're going faster. 60 meters faster, no less. So this is back to the scenario where we're actually going at 7-9. And we still have 7 tons. With the ERPPC, with the medium lasers, our heat delta is 61. But we've got tonnage. But now we don't have slots. I just can't win. But actually, no, I can. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. If we have tonnage, but no slots... Binary laser takes less slots than the ERPVC. We are so slot locked. We are so slot locked. If I had 3 more tons of double heat sinks. If I had 3 more tons of double heat sinks, that would be an extra 18 cooling per turn. That still wouldn't be enough though, would it? Because then our heat delta would still be 34. Which still overloads the radical kit once we get up there. What we could do is just regular ER mediums. No, it's only 480 meters. That's only 480 meters. Ah, you know what would be great? Laser insulators. Laser insulators would be the answer. So instead of the double heat sinks, laser insulators, I believe, are 1 slot. And drop whatever laser they're attached to, like, say, the binary laser, by a percentage. What if both, actually? Hold on. Hold on, what if both? What if we do that original LRM5 idea? So So heat delta of 10 means we don't need that many extra heat sinks. And then we're using the tonnage. And then this also leaves us, if we strip off, the reason I put the extra half bin, if we strip off 0.35 tons of armor, that gives us another LRM 5. So then we're up to LRM 15. We're up to LRM 15 with the 2 medium laser bright blooms and the binary, so we have the binary to make great use of breaching shot if we need it. We are at very respectable range, so we don't need back armor as much. So there we go. There we go. We now have a long to mid-range build to accompany our bushwhacker. Since our LRMs take 15, that means we've got 4 alpha strikes of damage and 8 alpha strikes of mag pulse. Is mag pulse even the play? I don't think mag pulse is the play. I think we just go regular LRM ammo. So that gives us 180, which is 12 alpha strikes. So we don't have to worry about LRM ammo. It gives us our lasers doing respectable damage at respectable range, including the binary doing crazy good damage at very respectable range. Yeah. Our cockpit risk is giving us extra guts, which means if we do go over the red line, less chance to less chance to overheat or shut down. I mean, to shut down or explode. Fog of War stays revealed. Don't really care. Is there another sensor that? No, it's fine. I was thinking maybe a sensor missile range. Nah, LRM 15 isn't adequate. You know what? This is fine though. This is finally, after an hour of trying to figure it out, this is finally a build that actually makes really good use. Actually, if we drop... I was going to say if we drop another heat sink, we could add another medium laser, but no, because the medium laser would be an extra 18. Losing the heat sink would be an extra 6 less cooling. So that would be another 24, which would put us at 43 for the heat delta, which is excessive. But this is perfect. This actually makes optimal use of our cooling in any biome, because even in a hot biome, our heat delta should still be underneath the 25 heat per turn, probably most likely, that the radical is cooling. So we can still keep alpha striking and yo-yoing between 90% and 50%. We have very respectable ECM shielding. We're also granting ECM shielding to the bushwhacker. We've got the combat shield, so our 40-tonner should soak much more damage than it normally would be able to. And we don't need to worry about sprinting. We're not the fastest, so we can easily move around and have the combat shield giving us bulwark if we're in cover. This is interesting. It's interesting. I think I finally found a build that I'm happy with, that fits all the little quirks. It's a long-range build, so it can hang out with the bushwhacker. The AR-20 keeps the bushwhacker safe, as well as keeping the Aswang safe. If necessary, we can eject without losing any cockpit components that we've added. It has very respectable damage for a 40-tonner at good range, and plenty of ammo for the weapons that have ammo. If it does take heat damage, it has the emergency coolant system, as well as the ability to just not fire the binary laser. So if the radical kit and the emergency coolant system are both active, we're sinking an extra 50 heat per turn, and if we turn off the binary laser, that's another 50 heat. So, yeah, we'd save 100 heat compared to if we were going Alpha Strike, while still maintaining decent damage. The potential 60 from the Bright Blooms, as well as the potential, what is that? The 5 times 15. 75. Maths. Yeah. I'm finally happy with this build. Took long enough for sure, but I'm finally happy with this build. I think it is exactly everything that I wanted it to be. Yeah, there we go. And one day, because Omnis are amazing, so one day. Which means Calcifer needs to go to the top, Cloak goes to the top, Stormcrow goes to the top, Aswang goes to the top. And then Chameleon, I want to see what it's doing after the 2 days. I haven't even tried Tonka yet in its new build. Looking forward to that. I haven't really used the Lamb or the Urban Knight. Yeah. 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 That's a weird little build, but we'll drop it at some point before we replace it, 100%. And we don't have any like Lamb components, right? No like flight sensors. No, of course not. All right. Yeah. So took me long enough, but we finally finished building the Aswang. So for now, that's been your episode of Roguetech for the day. I hope you enjoyed it, and until next time, have a good one.